Doing something over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity, apparently said by Albert Einstein. But practice makes perfect. So what are we supposed to do? Especially as creatives and artists, I feel like it can be so hard to show up to our art again and again, especially when we are constantly faced with so much resistance, insecurity, the realities of surviving as a human being and, needing to work and live our lives. But truly, the spark of life, of inspiration, of creativity, it responds to devotion. And so I want to welcome you today to our very first day of 19 days of devotion, of showing up to our craft, whatever it might be. Please choose one of your own. Maybe it's something new that you've always wanted to try, some kind of art form, and you don't have to necessarily share it online. I love ancestral crafts and things. But whatever it might be, for me, it's videos. Like, this is a craft that I started many moons ago and has kind of been put to the wayside, even though for me, whenever I film these videos, I am filled up with so much joy, with so much fulfillment, excitement, inspiration, and, candle making, herbalism, these things give me a sense of fulfillment as well. But I feel like we need to follow that spark, that joy that fills us up, because that is a sign from the divine. That is, a message, a gift from spirit, from creator, that this is something we're meant to do. Whew, I'm getting chills. So thanks so much for joining me here on this 19-day journey. I'll explain more about why it'll be 19 days of devotion to our craft, to creativity, to art. And I'm just so excited to go on this journey with you. I've really wanted to connect more to my community here, but as I've said, I feel like I've been at capacity in my life and focused, and we'll talk more about focus in another video, but focused on my other crafts, because many of us are like super multi-dimensional. I know I am, and I have so many passions and, still other forms of art that excite me and entice me and I want to go deeper into. But yeah, today we're going to talk about devotion and the importance of it, which maybe isn't that exciting. And, I'm choosing to say devotion instead of discipline because I know for me, the term discipline kind of turns me off. Like, I'm not interested. But devotion, okay. If you're new here, I'm Sandler. I'm a creative, an herbalist, a wild, witchy woman. And yeah, I am just so excited to share more on this channel here and to talk more about creativity because this really lights me up. We also have Odin, my little kitty cat, here for the video. And you're literally right next to my wood stove, so don't mind these noises, but Brigid insisted. And by Brigid, I mean Goddess Brigid, Saint Brigid, and that's kind of the inspiration behind the 19 days and why I'm feeling so called to create this now. These videos are eternal. The messages they live on beyond time if you watch this at another time. But right now we are just at the beginning, if you're watching this in 2026, about to commence in the Wheel of the Year Imbolc, which is a time when it's like we're still in the winter, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. I live on the west coast of Canada. In some places there's so much snow. But since the winter solstice, the light has been returning and we begin to see, especially where this tradition, like in Ireland, where this really comes from, like from the Celtic Isles, we start to see like the snowdrops and the daffodils and these certain flowers that come in the cold weather. And they're this sign, that the light is coming, the spring is coming. It's this time of the very first crystallizations of renewal and birth beginning. But it isn't actually spring yet. I am actually an Imbolc baby. I'm a Pisces and my birthday's at the end of February, so I feel like I've always just really resonated with this time, and also with Goddess Brigid, which in mythology from those lands, from Ireland, it's that the Cailleach, the crone, kind of rules over the winter, the dark season, and it is in Imbolc at the beginning of February that Brigid kind of takes over the maiden. And I mean, there's many different takes on this myth that like actually the Cailleach is just the like it's the many faces of the same, the maiden, the mother, the crone, like it's all the same of the goddess. But that is why she is, you know, celebrated, venerated during this time in particular. And I just resonate with her so much, especially as I said, as a Pisces, I'm a super watery being, and she's also kind of is known, she's the patron of the well maidens and of the wells, so of the waters, but also of the fire and of the hearth and of the artist and the healer and of inspiration and the muse. And I feel like she wants us to do this challenge. So welcome. I'm going to be sharing more probably about her in future videos. But yeah, today we're going to talk about devotion, and we're going to start off these 19 days by first talking about a book that if you're an artist, you probably already know. I might have mentioned it before on this channel, and that's The Art of War. I always am like, am I saying The War of Art, like the classic novel or whatever? But yeah, The Art of War, what I really took from it, it's a super short book. It's a really easy read if you're someone who's creatively curious and you want to start walking the path of the artist. It's a really great place to start. And what Steven Pressfield, the author, talks about a lot is about resistance, and that as an artist, we are constantly faced with resistance. And so sometimes, you know, we're not going to want to write our book or make our video or, you know, make our candles, but we have to just keep showing up because the resistance is never going to go away. And it's kind of like this war that we're constantly in as artists, as creatives, that we're constantly fighting this resistance that is always coming up against our inspiration, against our creativity. And it is only through, you know, really cultivating a daily devotional practice or a discipline of no matter what, no matter how you feel showing up for your art, that you will finally, you know, write the book or make the candles or film the videos. And so, I mean, I don't agree with everything that he says, but there is so much truth to that. And I have found that with my other crafts that I've showed up for day in and day out, like candle making. And you know, sometimes it almost felt like it wasn't by choice because I needed to fulfill these big orders, which were such a blessing. But at the same time, it's like some days you don't want to do the thing that is your art and is your passion and is like, you know, does feel like an expression of your soul and of life and is oftentimes such a joy, but sometimes it's not a joy. And I think there is a fine line. Like, I think we can, you know, like I said before, that Albert Einstein quote, which like, it's very, I don't think it actually was Albert Einstein that said that, but whatever wise soul said that doing something over and over again and you're expecting something different is insanity. Like, I really resonate with that because sometimes something just isn't working. And I know for me, what doesn't work with videos and filming is to spend so much time editing that I start to lose that spark. You know, I start to separate myself from what I'm creating. And that might be different for you, like with your art form, whatever it might be. Like, I know for me too, with candle making, I used to be in this little cabin, and every time I made candles, I would have to put everything away. And then it was literally like my kitchen table. Like my only table. It was just a little tiny studio cabin. So for me, that just like was not conducive to me showing up to my craft every day, and that was kind of insanity, but that's okay. Sometimes we need to be the mad woman, sometimes we need to be in that energy, but sometimes we need to give ourselves, you know, now I have an actual desk and it's so much more easeful to show up to my craft. And now doing this 19 days of devotion to my craft, I know I'm not going to be able to spend hours editing because I want to be putting out a video every day. And so I feel like when we're on this path of the artist, we really need to continually be like shifting and mutating and moving like the ocean. Like we need to be fluid in our practice, but we still need to have a practice. And especially when we're starting a craft, because I do feel like it's just like the momentum, like the energy of pushing the stone up a mountain, like it's so much harder if it's not moving, like to actually start pushing it. And so if every time you come to your craft, you haven't moved the stone in weeks or months or years, it's gonna be a lot more work than if every day you're showing up to it and maybe you're barely making anything. Like maybe you're just kind of brainstorming or you're in a visionary energy, but if you're still showing up to that creative spark, then you're still showing up. You're still moving that boulder a tiny bit further up the mountain. And that will, you know, help you with this sense of inertia that I know I get into all the time. And then we get into our head and then we're overthinking and like practice makes perfect. Like we become forged through the fires of our creativity. And we also uncover what actually excites us, what actually inspires us and fills us up, and what doesn't. And I know for me, there's certain kinds of candle making and herbalism, for example, that really excite me. Like I love making body oils and like feeling like a witch and making this potion, versus there's other kinds of herbalism, like I don't know, like making vinegars and oxymels and syrups that like don't really excite me that much. Like sure, sometimes I'll make them, but I would much rather show up and, you know, sell body oils. So I feel like that kind of nuance is sometimes missed when we talk about discipline and devotion, and that just because you need to show up doesn't mean you can't change the way that you show up, and doesn't mean that you can't continually, you know, like shift into the sunlight like a sunflower or something. You know, you're finding, where does the light hit me in the way that feels good today? And that's what's important. And so this is a reminder to me as well, making this video, to do the same. So yeah, thanks for coming along on this journey. And I really want to hear in the comments, what craft are you showing up to? Whether you're going to do the 19 days with me, or whether this is just a little spark for you to deepen into your creative journey. I would love to hear. And yeah, let's have fun. I'm really excited. I'm so excited. I've wanted to do something like this for a long time, and it finally feels like it's time. So till the next video tomorrow, have a blessed day.